Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video here on Marvel's Strike Force this weekend, and we have some very big data mines to go over today that is going to be involving a week and a half from now. So not next week, but it's going to be the week after, basically when I'm going to be off to Germany, PPPS. So that's on Friday when I am going on that trip. I'll be leaving. So thankfully, it appears that the Sword Tower might not be that big of a deal. We'll talk about that probably more tomorrow in the events video. But it doesn't look like they're making any major changes. They talked about 10 new floors, but it's actually on the bottom for new players. So it's not really, it's going to be very similar to Winter's Peak that we had back in December. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about in today's video is going to be a new pocket dimension that's around the corner that I want to prepare you guys for so that you have all the tools available to get ready for that. There's also some updates related to the Xavier Saga that I do want to talk about as well. Some important mechanics of the fights that we weren't really told that I do believe some of this might make a difference. So I want to talk about that. So let's boil this down. Okay, so let's just start things off here. We're in the data mine section. So coming soon, Fallen Dimension. This is the brand new pocket dimension that's going to be coming to the game, which, just looking at my calendar, honestly, it's probably going to be the exact same week that the Xavier comes out. So that's going to be your April the 14th, the week of that. It may not be directly on the Monday, but that's when I would expect it to happen because data mines normally, especially ones that come out on Friday, is about a week and a half in advance, so about 10 days or so. So expect for that. This one says, Strike has received a blah, blah, blah. No, actually, I'm not even going to read it. But anyways, they talk about criminals and villainous characters. This is focused on vigilantes, but it does allow you to use other skill characters in this. We'll talk about that. It's down here as well. The vigilantes will be available on every single node. So this is how they're encouraging you and pushing you to upgrade these characters, to use them, potentially even to buy into Daredevil or Silver Sable next week, because you're going to be able to use them throughout every single node, and that's what they're encouraging. Now, it does not say whether or not the raid text for vigilantes is going to be active, whether or not the stuff that's in tower mode for the other characters are going to be available for vigilante. That we don't know. It does say recommended gear tier 18, so this might be easier, right? It might not be like super hard. Doesn't say recommended gear tier 19. It may not be as bad as that god-awful Absolute A-Force. What was that called? Fuck. Frozen Dimension, right? That was awful. Effing awful. But these are the requirements for the upcoming nodes. So there's 5 Vigilante or Skill. I think this might be towards the beginning. And then we have 5 Vigilante or Skill Hero. So that has to be, it's a combination. It has to be Skill Hero specifically. A Skill Villain, Skill City, Skill Cosmic. Now, this one says 3 Vigilante or Skill Cosmic. Kind of weird. Maybe they're easier nodes. And then it goes into 5 Vigilante or Skill Cosmic. And then 5 Vigilante or Skill Global. And I do want to touch on some of these characters, namely the origins, these ones, like City, Cosmic, and Global. As far as the heroes go, the villains is kind of weird too, but this would be like your Spider Society, right? Like outside of Vigilantes. There is the Liberty characters as well. But I want to break it down particularly in the City, Global, and Cosmic section to kind of show you guys what characters are available. So I want to jump back into the game here for a minute. Now, actually, I already had this loaded up, so let's just talk about this. So villain skill is pretty dire, right? If you're not using the Vigilante members, your other options are pretty dire. You need to make 5, right? So you're going to have Punisher and Elektra. I don't think that Daredevil Modern is going to be out and available yet at this point, so this is going to be quite troubling for a lot of players because really, you have Thanos Endgame, you got Black Cat, and you got Kraven. You could use Taskmaster. So if they're for veterans, you might be able to use Taskmaster, but let's be real. That's about it. This is about it. Like Punisher, free to play. Punisher, Elektra, and these 3 is about it. The rest of it is dog shit. So I think you need 5 to enter as well. So this could be quite interesting. Maybe Thanos might be able to carry a bulk of it, but still, doesn't look stellar. So that's villain skill. Let's talk about, actually, I don't know why. Let's talk about skill. Well, we don't really need to talk about Skill City because a lot of that's Spider Society, right? You could fill in, if you don't have the rest of the Vigilante members, you're going to fill in with Spider Society without a doubt. So I don't think that one's going to be that hard. Let's talk about Skill Global. So again, you're going to be using Global Skill or Vigilantes, but it has to be a combination of 5, right? To be clear. So you have, let's just say free to play, right? Punisher, Elektra, and you need three more. So Cap, Sam, Peggy, and Black Knight. So for those of you who did level up them for Kiln, then you might get some crossover for this, and that might be good. And then you have Black Knight as well. Outside of that, it's pretty awful, right? Like Patriot and then Falcon, Joaquin are not skill, so the rest of the selection is pretty garbage. So it's like this, pretty much, right? You get Taskmaster again, but realistically, it's just these three and Punisher and Elektra. So how well that's going to go over, I guess we'll find out. And then finally, we have Skill Cosmic, which again is not a very good selection of characters. Again, let's assume that you've got Punisher and Elektra, and they're still somehow they're still somehow alive, right after all of these nodes. But do keep in mind that for Pocket Dimensions and Dark Dimension, they do heal, or you could heal them, right, with packs or every day that they're going to heal on their own. So even if they die on a node, they might come back, right? So other than those two, we do have Thanos Endgame, which is fine. Moondragon, can she heal all allies? That's what I'm concerned about. Does she have a heal? Does it heal? Oh yeah, okay, she does. So she could actually heal pretty decently on that, so that's not a problem. I was wondering whether or not the healing was restrictive to either Infinity Watch or Astral, but it seems like that might be okay. Heal all allies. So okay, so Moondragon might actually be able to help and carry that, and then we have, so that's probably not that hard. I think where it might be a little bit hard will be that global section, probably like the if you don't have the newer characters. But I think this is where they're trying to push you to want to get Daredevil Modern. Daredevil Modern is he's both your tank and your healer for the team for Vigilantes. So this character, I don't know how so much on Silver Sable, but at least Daredevil Modern is probably going to get a lot of value in this upcoming dimensions. That being said, I guess I mean the core orbs are there. If this turns out to be absolute dog shit and I really want to clear it, maybe I'll core Daredevil Modern in a week and a half, but I don't need to rush and do that right now. That's not something that you need to get doing. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know in advance so that if you don't have any of these characters built up, you can decide whether or not you want to, or you can wait until see what the rewards are going to be. Because it's that week of Xavier, I don't expect it to be a leaderboard event. I think it's probably just going to be a standard event, whatever that is tied to. It doesn't say yet because we don't have the data mines specifically related to the event that it's going to be funneling into, because normally they do, right? Normally there's some orb fragments or something in here as rewards that's going to funnel into another event, but we don't have those details quite yet. We'll probably get that sometime early next week. We also have the return of the Shadow King. So his trials are going to be coming back, which again is going to be that week of the Xavier Saga, because obviously it would have been in the blog otherwise if it was this coming week. So that's coming back. Now, what's interesting is that they do have the Shadow Orb fragments that you can collect from ISO 8 nodes. Now, keep in mind that unless this is for a main event, which I doubt it is, do not. I personally would not be blowing your ISO 8 energy. You caught my video the other day, yesterday, when I talked about how you should be hoarding for upcoming G20 events and leaderboards and things like that. So I would not be spending your ISO 8 energy on this particular event, because it's just going to be some character shards that are going to be related to the Shadow King trials. Probably nothing that you really need a big deal, that is really a big deal. We also have the X Coin Payday Orb. That is for this coming week, I believe, as well. It's nothing that important anyways. That's going to be coming out of Sword Battle Lab. And actually, while we're here, I do want to talk about that really quickly, because this is, I mean, it was in the blog post, but I'm just going to reference it here. So these 10 new floors these 10 new floors here, they're right at the bottom. So this is designed to be a new player sword tower, if that's even a thing. So they're not making the top floors harder. They're making the new floors easier. The bottom floors easier. And the highest floor, aka what's now floor 60, is going to be the same top floor that was in Winter's Peak, which was in December, which had a final boss of Mephisto. So that hasn't changed. We're not seeing any newer characters basically post Mercs for Money. I believe the newest character that's actually in this sword tower is Panda Pool, something like that. I don't even think Old Man Logan's in there. I think it's just Panda Pool. So it's going to be fairly easy to accomplish. It's going to be probably pretty boring, honestly. But there is going to be a leaderboard in this as well that's going to funnel into next week's event. I am probably going to wait until later on tomorrow to put out the video, so the video won't come out probably Sunday morning. I'm going to wait until maybe this shows up in game so that we can take a look at how many milestone points, maybe take a look at the leaderboard, that kind of thing, if it shows up in game tomorrow, because we don't really have information about that on the blog. So that's just something I wanted to point out in case you're waiting around for my event video. It's going to be later on Sunday afternoon. And then let's scroll back down past this. We have this stuff here. Now, this is actually not that important, but it's the recommendations of the saga, which makes me a little bit concerned. So you can see here that they have all the stuff related to the dialogue story of the Xavier Saga. That's all in, right? Because that's going to be starting on April the 14th. And so a lot of that is already in the game files now as of Friday. This is when it went in. And the recommendations for the levels are 7 yellow, 7 red, gear tier 20, like plus, right? But particularly, I want to kind of point out at the 7 yellow, 7 red, because this concerns me a little bit, especially when they're recommending teams like Vigilantes, like Liberty for the city and global section, when, unless you're a big spender, you're not going to be having these 7 yellow, 7 red. So I guess my question is, and we won't know until the actual nodes come out, which are not, as of recording, is not out yet. Is a 4 or 5 yellow of Vigilante and Liberty going to do it for the Xavier Saga? And I guess that's the next big question, which we don't really have yet. Now, finally, I do want to talk about this. This is big, I think, in my opinion. So each of the big bosses have special mechanics, in case this wasn't clear. And we do have those mechanics now for Nimrod, Gladiator, Shadow King, and Dark Xavier. Now, starting off with Nimrod, he has these are rules that are going to pop up when you play the match, and it's going to go across your screen, and it's going to say 1, 2, and 3. So number 1, Nimrod's army of sentinels protect him. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe he just spawns with a shit ton of sentinels, exactly, and they're all taunting. Defeat the highlighted Orcus Sentinel to expose Nimrod. Number 2, once Nimrod takes enough damage, a new Sentinel arrives to protect him. So these are important battle rules that are things that are gonna change the course of battle. So he is gonna have like a boss hit point thing, just like in Battle World, but he's gonna have special mechanics that Nimrod would not normally have, or any of the other characters. So just wanted to kind of let you guys know about this one. For Gladiator, number 1, Gladiator will take 2 turns at once and gain speed whenever damaged. That is huge. Now, they say speed, not speed bar. I don't know if that's actually true, right? Is he actually going to get speed stat? Or is he getting speed bar when he's being damaged? So that's kind of interesting, I think. Once Gladiator has lost half his health, his every attack grants him Rage. So you guys might remember Rage from Null, from Battle World, that basically improves all of his stats for the most part, speed bar especially as well, things like that, speed stat, I think. So this is going to be pretty crazy, which means that, once you push him past half health, you're going to want to burn him down ASAP. So maybe save your big attacks for under 50% to kill him as fast as you possibly can. But he's always taking 2 turns, which is insane. Each instance of Rage increases Gladiator's damage speed. So you can see right there, but that's like pretty much what happens to Null. Shadow King Xavier Saga mission boss. Number 1, Shadow King summons duplicates of your allies. This one is big. If I'm not mistaken, the Shadow King node is Cosmic Villain, because Dark Xavier is Cosmic Hero, pretty sure. So this is going to be Cosmic Villain. Shadow King duplicates all of your Cosmic Villain allies. If you're running in there with Mephisto, does that mean that he's going to come in and fucking summon Mephisto and then exhaust you? Is that what's going to happen? Because that's going to be insane. Once summoned, Shadow King becomes stealth and takes reduced damage. Defeat all of the summons to expose Shadow King and damage him before he summons again. So he could do it again. This is going to be absolutely bonkers, because if this is I think this is the Cosmic Villain section. So we're thinking of our own Shadow King. We're thinking of Mephisto. We're thinking of the Annihilators, right? Maybe 2 or 3 Annihilators. Characters like that. So this is going to be pretty bonkers and pretty challenging as well. If you don't have any sustain, but also if you don't have the right set of characters, is this going to change the types of characters that we're going to want to take into the Cosmic Villain section? Because this part doesn't sound fun. Duplicating your allies across the board. So it's going to be Shadow King plus a reflection, essentially, of your characters that you decide to use. That's crazy. And then finally, we have the Dark Xavier mission boss. This is Lilandra plus Cosmic Heroes. Dark Xavier cannot be damaged through normal means. When all of his allies are defeated, his energy falters and loses health. Defeat all of Dark Xavier's psychic manifestations to earn victory. Now, I don't know who those psychic manifestations are, what enemies those are going to be. I don't know if it's these previous bosses or if it's something completely different. That I don't have the information of. This one's not as concerning, right? Like, I think it's just telling you how to do the battle more efficiently. But I am actually slightly worried about the Shadow King one because when they said duplicate all of your allies, I was like, holy shit, what does that really mean? So, some interesting stuff there. Is that going to make me change what I think about my characters that I'm going to be taking? And just for shits and giggles, I just want to like just double check again. Cosmic Villain. I'm almost sure that's the section, right? What was I thinking about? Like these top 5. Oh, there's Null. Sorry, I forgot about Null as well. Are they going to duplicate my Null? Holy crap! Like, so you're kind of looking at Null and then like this row here, right? Like, I don't think anyone else is really making the cut at this point. That could be crazy. And also, does it mirror your stats or does it give them like enemy versions of theirs, right? I would imagine it might be some special version of on their end, or is it a one-for-one duplication, aka whatever stats you go in with is the enemies that you face? Is Scopely going to be able to do that part properly without bugging it out and fucking something up? Well, I guess we'll have to see in about a week and a half, or when, well, probably later, right? Whoever the first person is, or the first few people that start getting footage, I guess, of the Xavier Saga, especially from the Cosmic Villain section onwards, that'll be interesting to see. So, just some information that I want to share with you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below about the Xavier Saga special tidbits there, and also the upcoming dimensions that hopefully you guys can start preparing for. So that's it for now, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you tomorrow afternoon when I do my event video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.